Hello children, hope you have all watched our videos, preparing well and completed your notes. We have completed the unit 1 and you can start writing your material even for unit 1. And we are going to begin with an wonderful and inspirational quotation about the helping nature. So strong people stand up for themselves, but stronger people stand up for others. Always be a stronger, not like a strong, so that we can help ourselves as well as we can help others by all means. Okay children, so today we are going to the humanity. It is the theme of the unit 2, the selfish giant part 1, part 2, and at last going with the poem. The poem name is here The Garden Within. All the 3 readings talk about humanity. Now come on, look at the picture given below, and after looking at the picture, we'll learn about it. Then we can answer the questions that follows. Now look, see the children and a giant sitting. He is called as a giant. Why? Why do we call him as a giant? Because he is a huge man, so we call him as a giant. And there are some children in the garden. The atmosphere is the garden. The man whom we are observing here is a giant, and there are few children who are playing in the garden. And this is talking about humanity. See, on his lap one boy is sitting. You might have observed there. So he is helping the children. Humanity is nothing but kind nature. Now what do you notice in the picture? What do you think of the size and sitting posture of the figure which is looking at the children? What is the mood of the children? So you please write the answers for these 3 questions in your notebook. Now going with the reading A, the selfish giant. This is the part 1, and in the next reading you will be observing the part 2. Clear? So let's start with the part 1. Old giant and the giant refer to the same character. The giant is a selfish character, whereas old giant is a changed and kind character. See, both refers to the same characters, but please go through the difference between the two. The giant, whenever you come across the character the giant, he is a selfish charactered person. If we come across old giant, he is a man who changed. So, and kind charactered person. Okay, please don't get confused for the giant and old giant. The giant is a selfish character, whereas old giant is changed and kind character. And old giant addresses the audience directly. The action plays out behind him as he describes it. Now he is addressing the audience. Who is addressing here? Old giant is addressing. Now the action starts. I once owned a large lovely garden with soft green grass. Here and there over the grass stood beautiful flowers like stars, and there were 12 peach trees that in the springtime broke out into delicate blossoms of pink and pearl, and in the autumn bore rich fruit. The birds sat on the trees and sang so sweetly that the children used to stop their games in order to listen to them. See the first paragraph. I once owned a large, lovely garden. Old Jane has his own garden, and it is too lovely with soft green grass. And over the grass stood beautiful flowers. How were the flowers? They looked like stars, and there were 12 peach trees. Here, peach trees mean the trees bearing round fruit with soft red and yellow skin. See, these are the fruits. And the color, there will be soft red and with yellow skin. They are coming under peach trees. In the springtime broke out. So broke out is a phrasal verb which starts in springtime. Springtime is the season between winter and summer when plants begin to grow. So broke out means that is the time when the plants begin to grow. Which season we are talking? It is a springtime. To delicate blossoms, tender flowers. Delicate blossoms, tender flowers. Colors were pink and pearl, and in the autumn bore rich fruit. Autumn marks the transition from summer to winter. That is called as autumn season. The birds sat on the trees and sang so sweetly. So all the birds during that season, we can observe the wonderful scenery of the birds during that season. They sang so sweetly. Even children used to stop their games in order to listen to them. So children who were playing in the garden, they stopped there to listen to the wonderful, lovely voice of the birds. Every afternoon as they were coming from school, the children used to go and play in my garden. But one day I came back. Here, children, they used to have only off-day schools. So afternoon, after the school ends, they used to come directly into the garden. The reason is, he was not there. So, since many months, he was not in that particular house. So children, what did they think? Oh, it is so free that we can come and enjoy during the afternoon session. I had been to visit my friend, the Cornish ogre, and had stayed with him for 7 years. And sudden visit right now. And all these years where he was with his friend. What is the name of the friend? Cornish ogre. And ogre, actually you will have observed in stories, a cruel and frightening giant who eats people. So his name is Cornish. So our old giant stayed with him for 7 years. And after the 7 years were over, I had said all that I had to say and determined to return to my own castle. And he said everything. Say, I want to go to my own place. 7 years I have stayed with you. Now my mind had turned to my own place. Castle. Why did he call? Because it is a large, strong building with strong and thick walls. When I arrived, I saw children playing in my garden. So when he arrived, he did not think that children are coming and playing. But when he arrived, he observed, what is this? In my garden, the children are playing. The giant. See, already we have seen the giant is a selfish character. And as he was a selfish, he was shouting, what are you doing here? The children ran away. When this the giant shouted, the children were frightened and they started running away from the garden. And the giant says, my own garden is my own garden. Anyone can understand that, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself. So this garden belongs to me. I cannot allow anyone to come inside and play in my garden. My own garden belongs to only myself. The old giant points out the younger giant working on a wall. putting up a sign and then listening at the wall. Old Jane says, so I built a high wall all round and put up a notice board, trespassers will be prosecuted. So what did he do? He don't like anyone to come inside. So he built a high wall, a very big wall so that no one can climb, and put up a notice board. What is the notice board? Trespassers will be prosecuted. So this is a notice board where we generally observe. Trespassers means person who go into land without permission. So they are not allowed to come inside and legal action will be taken on them. I heard the children whispering outside the wall on their way to school. And early morning, as a regular task, children started going to school. Whisper. Whisper means speaking very quietly. And children, see what is this? There is a huge wall here we hadn't seen previously, and maybe this man had constructed, and there is no chance for us to go inside the garden. So all were talking very quietly, and he heard from the other side. Now see the girls and the boys. First conversation begins with tall girl. Now we have nowhere to play. The tall girl is speaking. There is no place for us to play right now. And short boy says, we can play on the road. What is there? We are not going into the garden, but we can play directly on the road. Square girl, but the road is very dusty. How can we play on the road? See how dusty the road looks. Graceful girl, and full of hard stones. Even on the roads we have pebbles and they are very hard when they touch us. So they are all hard stones. Round by, I don't like it. So I don't like to play on the road. And graceful girl says again, let us walk around the wall when our lessons are over. At least we can talk about the beautiful garden inside. Okay, so don't worry about playing. Now what we'll do after our classes end, now let us walk around the wall particularly and let us describe how we have enjoyed in the garden, how beautiful the garden is. Tall girl, how happy we were there. Yes, when we have enjoyed, we did not understand, but now when we think about those past days, how happily we were there in the garden. And round boy, he is a very selfish giant. See, this giant is not allowing us to come inside and play. He is a very selfish giant. The giant opens a door in the wall and shouts at the children. He was listening for their conversation. And he's shouting, who is that talking like this? He opened the door in the wall and he's shouting at the children. The giant, my own garden is my own garden. Anyone can understand that, and I will allow nobody to play in it but myself. Already he spoke to us. The garden belongs to me. I should enjoy my garden. I never allow anyone to come and enjoy my garden. And the children scattered. They had moved from that place after hearing to the voice of that man. And old Jane, then the spring came, and all over the country there were little blossoms and little birds. Only in my garden it was still winter. The birds did not come to sing, and the trees forgot to blossom. The people who were pleased best were the snow and the frost. See, spring entered. The season was changed. Now it is the spring season. All over the country, we can hear the tiny birds and blossoms of flowers, but except in the giant's garden. Still the garden is like a winter season, but rest of the areas it had changed to spring. The people who were pleased best were the snow and the frost. As we all know, it was still winter. The birds did not come to sing, the trees forgot to blossom, but who were pleased a lot were the snow and the frost. You all know what is called as snow. The ice falling in light white flakes. And the frost is the small white ice crystals formed on the ground or other surfaces. And these are the invitees in this garden, whereas rest of the garden changed to spring. Now snow and frost are saying that spring has forgotten this garden, so now we can live here all the year round. Actually, it should be a spring, but spring season forgotten only this garden, so all the year we can enjoy in this garden. And old Jane, the snow covered up the grass with her great white cloak, and the frost painted all the trees silver. Then they invited the north wind to stay with them. When he came, he was wrapped in heavy furs. He rode all day about the garden and rejoiced in blowing the chimney pots over. See, the snow covered the entire grass with white cloak. You all know what is called cloak. A type of coat that has no sleeves. Actual meaning of cloak. But here we can observe the white color. The snow, we know the color of the snow. So it had covered entirely the grass, and the frost, what did it do? The trees into silver color. They invited the north wind to come. Come on, you can also stay along with us. When he came, he wrapped. He had covered the entire, roaring all day and enjoying in blowing the chimney pot. Chimney pot means a white pipe placed on top of a chimney is called as a chimney pot. North wind, this is a delightful spot. We must ask the hail to come on a visit. Oh, wonderful garden. It's a very, very delightful, means charming and very pleasant garden. Let us call hail. Even hail they want to invite, and it can come. Hail meaning a frozen rain. So old Jane, so the old hail came every day for 3 hours. He rattled on the roof of the castle till he broke most of the slates, and then he ran round and round the garden as fast as he could go. He was dressed in grey and his breath was like ice. I sat at the window and looked out at my cold white garden. And old Jane, he was so shocked. What is this? Rest of the areas had changed, but in my garden, why all these are the invitees? Now even the hail came, and 3 hours it sounds on the roof, and even it broke many of our slates, means roofing material slate mean, and it started running round and round the garden as fast as he could go. And the dressing he was describing to us that it is in grey and breathing like ice. So he was sitting at the window and looking out his cold white garden. How is the garden described, children? It is looking cold and even white color garden. The giant is speaking now. I cannot understand why the spring is so late in coming. I hope there will be a change in the weather. I cannot understand what is the main reason the spring is so late in coming, whereas rest of the area it has changed. What is the main reason? He cannot understand. And old Jane says, but the spring never came, not the summer. The autumn gave golden fruit to every garden, but to my garden she gave none. Seasons are changing. But coming to his garden, there is no change in the seasons. So what he had done is, he was so shocked to know what is the reason the autumn gave only golden fruit to every garden, but to my garden she gave none. Autumn, he is too selfish. Now Autumn says that this man is a selfish. How can I come into his garden? And old Jane, so it was always winter here, and the north wind and the hail and the frost and the snow danced about through the trees. And always it is only winter season, where rest of the areas the seasons are changed. But here Due to his selfish nature, even the seasons do not like to come to his garden. So who are the people inside his garden? North wind, hail, frost and snow. They are enjoying in his garden. Clear? This is our part 1. So in this part 1, what we have observed, that this man did not allow the children to come inside and enjoy. So even the seasons got angry and they did not come into his lovely garden. So this is our part 1. Tomorrow we will go with the part 2 session. Clear, children? Here is a glossary. Complete this glossary in your notes and make your notes ready for the next class, and try to complete your unit 1 material. As you have completed our lessons, writing skills. In the next class, we will start the part 2, self-hygiene part 2. So before going to the class, I would like to say that as we have ended the unit 1, go through the material. All the reading, A, B, C, glossary and question and answers are given directly. Please start reading them and try to complete the passages, comprehension passages and structural grammar. It is followed with vocabulary part. Vocabulary part is directly given from reading A. All the Romans you no need to search anywhere. It is from reading a textbook. So if you have textbooks, you can open them and complete the vocabulary, so that it will be like a practice, and also you'll have defined notion in unit 1 completely. So time is very precious and it is very much valuable to us. Don't waste your time. As you are at home, please plan your schedule. Your preparation should be very perfect. So I hope that you will complete the entire unit 1 as we have started unit 2. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.